So much for joining us to our program Vunja Mbavu. Today I want to use pure or only English. I'm not going to use any other language. I'm gonna be talking about something very serious. So that's the reason why I'm gonna be using English, and I hope you are gonna be with me for whole time while I'm doing this program. So today I want to go over something that a lot of people talk about, and I don't know if you have here, I definitely believe that you have here this word Pan-Africa. The word Pan-Africa, I don't know where you hear that, but definitely I believe if you are living on motherland Africa, there is definitely a time in your life you have here the word Pan-Africa. So today we are gonna go through what is Pan-Africa, the root of the word Pan-Africa, what it's supposed to do and what it did not do, and what is not Pan-Africa. So this is our discussion today. We're gonna be talking about today with you, my fellow listeners. So I do appreciate for you to take your time and joining us. We're gonna go through Pan-Africa today. I hope you're gonna know something that you possibly did not know before that. My name is Emmanuel Yohani Paulo. I'm the producer of this program. I'm the one who hosting this program, and the program you are watching is called Vunja Mbavu in Kiswahili language. Thank you. So, what is Pan-Africa, and where did the word Pan-Africa come from? And who is relating to Pan-Africa or Pan-Africanism, and what is supposed to do for the people that it's claimed to be part of, and what it did not do or what it has done for its own people. This is the things that we're gonna go over today. Now, Pan-Africa is actually Pan is not a good word. Yes. So Pan is actually driven from Greek mythology or Greek god, which is god Pan. He was a god of, he was a ghost god, or a god looked like a human and ghost together. He was said to be a god of everything. So he was a god of warrior, he was a god of love, he was a god of everything. So that is the God, God with small g, of Greek people. So the word Pan is Greek word. It comes from the background of Greek. And then you add Africa on it. So the whole concept here is that those who named it Pan-Africa, they were saying that is every African movement. That's what it's supposed to mean in another way. That was the whole intention there. As I said, the Pan is a god of everything or everyone. In Greek mythology, that's how they believed. We are not Greek, and definitely we don't claim to have anything to do with Greeks. But as you already know, our people often try to imitate Greek culture and so on. I think you know the Divine Nine, the sororities and the fraternities, which has also, they call themselves Pan-Hellenic organization. But I'm not going to go there for today, so I'm going to leave that alone. But I just want to make sure that you understand the roots of the word Pan-Africa is from Greek mythology. Now, so what is Pan-Africa then? Pan-Africa is, according to what I have here, Pan-Africa is a worldwide movement that aims to encourage and strengthen boundaries of solidarity between all indigenous people of diaspora and African ancestors, based on a common goal dating back to the Atlantic slave trade. The movement extends beyond continental Africans with a substantial support base among the African diaspora in the American and Europe. Pan-Africa can be said to have origin in the struggle of African people against slavery and colonization, and this struggle may be traced back to the first resistance of slave ship rebellion and suicide through the constant plantation and the colonial uprising of the black and the Back to Africa. The movement of Back to Africa movement of 19th century, based on the belief unity is vital to economy, social, and political progress in aim unify and uplift people of African ancestors. So there is unity here. There is uplifting people of African ancestors. So I want you to understand this. Pan-Africa is only for people of African ancestors. It was not designed, let me put it this way, it was not designed for people who are not African ancestors. And when you say African ancestors, is openly and clearly that we are talking about black people. That's it. There is no other people of ancestor of Africa who were under colonization and under slavery that we'll be talking about here. So the slavery and the colonization of Africa is the key to establish Pan-Africa, especially if you look at the history of people like Marcus Garvey, people like Martin Luther King, people like Malcolm X, William Sylvester William, Henry Sylvester William, and so on. These people, they according to the speech of Marcus Garvey Jr., which is the son of Marcus Garvey, he said that his father, Dr. Marcus Garvey, or Marcus Messiah Garvey, established Pan-Africa to create the sense of belonging. So it was the idea that black people outside of Africa did not have a sense of belonging. They did not know where they belonged to, because obviously they found themselves in the American continent after slavery, and they don't know where they belong to. They lost everything. So the Pan-Africa was like trying to reconnect them back to the roots where they came from, or their ancestors came from. Pan-Africa is believed that African people, both in the continent and in diaspora, share not merely a common history, but also a common destiny. Pan-Africa intellectually, culture, and political movement tend to view all African and descendants of African as belonging to a single race, or otherwise sharing culture unity. So Pan-Africanism, or Pan-African people, believe that we share one single race, and we also share destiny. That means black people general or globally, we share one single destiny. We are one people. We are one in the eyes of everyone, except maybe sometimes we ourselves don't see to be one. So I think you have here a lot of people here and there say that, hey, Sudanese are not African, they are not black. You will hear people say, hey, Somalians are not black, they are not Africans. You will hear people say that Ethiopians are not black, are not Africans. Some Ethiopians may say that too, few of them though. Or you will hear many things. You will even hear some Dominicans say that they are not black, they are Latino. You know, some people, they will even claim to be American Indians. So as you already know, if you are in a position like where Africa is today, is the last continent in terms of richness and development and all of that, so it's just mistreated. So if you know, no one wanna identify themselves with poor continents, with poor people, with things like that. So people, because we are poor, even our own black people will definitely say that they are not black because we are poor. We haven't figured out how to get things done for ourselves. So Pan-Africa is for black people by black people. That's what I'm trying to come to make you understand, as we say that we share same destiny and we are also one race as African ancestral, African descendants. Citation in the Pan-African post and sense of shared historically fate of African in America. the West Indies, and on the continent itself is centered on the Atlantic trade in African slavery and European imperialism. So when we talk about Pan-Africanism, there is things that we talk about is centered on transatlantic slave trade, African slavery, European imperialism. Those are the things that Pan-Africa it was actually designed to destroy or to fight against. The philosophy of Pan-Africa then. Pan-Africa presents the aggregation of historical culture, spiritual artists, scientific and philosophical legacy of Africanism from past time to the present. Pan-Africa as a ethical system trace its origin from ancient time, and it promotes values that are the products of African civilization and the struggle against slavery, racism, colonization, and neo-colonization. So here we have new word, neo-colonization. This also have roots from Greek, as I said. Neo-colonization is actually means new colonization. So now we are living today under neo-colonization. If you go to our banks, trust me on this, you will find out that Africa is being still colonized. If you go to our education, it's absolutely the worst colonization that we ever have. I wonder why we have so many educated leaders in Africa. I think Africa is the first continent with educated leaders, but Africa is now moving forward. So why would we have all these PhDs and doctors in office? Almost like if you go in Nigeria, for instance, almost every minister, they have PhDs, almost every one of them. The presidents, and everyone is just ministers, the prime ministers, the presidents, all of them, they have education. But because we are on colonization educationally, the education our leaders acquire, or even our people in general, does not respond or does not answer the questions on ground. The problems on ground in Africa is not being resolved by educated leaders. In fact, most of people who are not educated are the ones who did very good. If you look, who are even doing very good, I don't know if there's any who's doing very good for Africa, but most people who are not educated are at least the ones who are doing very good for their own people. People who are educated is just going worse and worse. So anyways, colonization also is on the new colonization is going on in between countries and countries. As you know, imperialism is the one who drew the line between our people, and then now we are supporting the line drawn by white people sitting in Europe and even in Africa, and call that our sovereignty, our borders that were imposed on us, dividing our people, our culture, our ethnic, our history, our struggle as people. You know, like there is ethnics that are in 2 different countries or 3 different countries. I know definitely, as you as an African, you know I'm talking about, because it's absolutely insanity. And those line does not respect our historically being or our historically identity, and then they are just in there, and we protect those, we defend them, and we identify ourselves with those lines, which I absolutely don't think anyone who is a Pan-Africanist or even freedom fighter, forget about even Pan-Africanist, anyone who have common sense will not do that. I think you know that sometimes, I think it was between Mozambique and Malawi, if I'm not mistaken, there is not even a road. Forget about, there is no road, there is no water between those 2 countries, and then you step on just purely like that, and you say, now I'm in Mozambique, now I'm in Malawi, you know. And it keep us separated as well. So am I saying that Africa was united before imperialism and decolonization? Absolutely not. We never have unity in Africa. In fact, we are well known to fight each other as ethnics from long time. But those days are over. We must get rid of that, because the idea of that you can conquer your other next door ethnic is finished. Now technology is too big. Not only that, our adversary, which is most of the time non-African people, they are too big. They have much power. That's why they sit in Berlin in 1845 to divide us. So if we don't unite, as Pierre Lumumba said, next 25 years, Africa will be recolonized. And I can see that it may not even take 25 years. And not only that, Africa will be in pieces. It will be divided in different countries, because each ethnic want to be self-independence. Since we were divided by colonizers, so each ethnic does not feel like they are being treated by the countries, the main countries. So if that's the case, that means Congo will have at least 210 countries, because they have 210 ethnics, if I'm not mistaken. Tanzania will have 123 countries. Somalia is already have almost like 9 countries inside there. Ethiopia will have 83 countries. I don't know if we don't unite, actually, it's gonna go very worse. And we can see that. We can see in Mozambique, we can see in Eastern Congo, there is no peace. We can see that in Nigeria, the Biafra have been fighting until today. So pretty much what I'm trying to say here is that the idea that we have failed unity, full unity, is gonna hurt us either we want or we don't. It's going to be to hurt us, as Dr. Kwame Nkrumah also said that if we do not unite, the imperialism or new colonialism is going to use our ethnic differences to divide us and to tear us in parts, and have started and is still going on until today. So the idea of unity for Black people, we do not want to face it. We like to wave around. We would like to do integration things, which cannot work. We would like to do, what is that, this East African blocks, SADC bloc, ECOWAS bloc. We would like to do something around, but we don't want, we would like to do Africa Union things, which has nothing about Union at all, but we do not want the full unity of Africa. We do not want to collapse the borders that is causing so much problems in Africa, in every aspect of our lives, actually, from the leaders to the average citizen. We are all suffering because of the borders that were drawn by white people in Africa. So before they draw those lines, how will we live? Trust me on this. People were living from Mali, and when it start to get, there is no rain there, they will come all the way to like Uganda with the cows, no passport, no visa, no matokia, no ID, nothing. And then when they stay there, like those the Nilotic people, like the South Sudanese people, when they stay there, once the rain is raining in the country or the kingdom, they will go back there. That's how we travel. That's how you see African people. We are mixed, and you can figure out who is who, because we were able to move. That time, we were able to move. We were not united, but we were able to move around. So today, we cannot do that. You cannot. You cannot move definitely from those areas to another areas. You cannot live from Senegal to maybe Botswana. You will not be able to do that. Why? Even though that time there was no technology to transport us, today we have a lot of technology, but you cannot, because you're gonna need to have this and that. You're gonna need to face visa, passport, ID. You go. There is so many places they're gonna stop you, and It's because of colonization. It's new colonization going on. That's why we cannot go around. You cannot even have some of the food that define our culture, because obviously food is part of our culture. There is food you cannot transport from one place to another one. They're gonna tell you this is not allowed to come in our country, or you have to do this, or you have to do this. So all of those kind of things. So that is the problem of new colonization, which is going on today. I was talking about that in schools as well. But if you look in culture, new colonization is also another thing. It's very big actually. If you watch most of TVs in Africa, you will see non-African football going on TVs. There is movies going on. It's non-African movies. You will see Indian movies on TVs. You will see Turkish movies. You will see Hollywood movies and so on, American movies, which actually does not respect our culture as African people. You will see in cartoons which our children are watching. It's absolutely insanity actually. I don't want to go there, but you know what I'm talking about. So the culture our culture is being destroyed. It's been step by step dismissed, and there's nothing pretty much we can do about it, because we are not united, because we have let them do so. So now, what is not Pan-Africa? I think this is something I want to highlight very big. So a lot of people do not really know do not understand the separation between Pan-Africa and the other things. So first of all, Pan-Africa, as I said already, is for black people only. Anything or anyone who tries to involve in Pan-Africanism, people are not black, you are destroying Pan-Africanism. It cannot work outside of that. It's exclusively to black people only. If you are not black, you are not supposed to be in Pan-Africa, because we don't share same ancestor. We don't share same history, which comes from colonization and slavery. In fact, for instance, people are dragging in Pan-Africa Arabs. Arabs are also colonizers and enslaving of Africa. So if you drag them in Pan-Africa, you are absolutely destroying Pan-Africa. That's why Pan-Africa have not worked. You don't involve anyone who is not black in Pan-Africanism. That's how it has to be, and that's what it is. That's how it was established. So Arabs should not be part of Pan-Africanism. Yes, they should not, because they enslaved us. The longest slavery is slavery, which a lot of people, I don't know why a lot of scholars, black scholars, they don't talk about this. In the schools, you can't find this at all. We study only Western slavery, which was done starting around the 15th century. But we don't talk about the Eastern slavery, the Zanzibar slavery. We don't talk about the destruction of North Africa on 6th century by Arabs or people from outside of Africa, and how they destroyed everything and they conquer us. We don't talk about that. So Arabs are not supposed, and we should not be part of Pan-Africanism, because it's not their things. I know some people may say, so what do you do with them while they are living on the motherland Africa? Well, what do you do with people who live in, white people who live in South Africa or in Botswana or Namibia or Ivory Coast? What do you do with them? What do you do with them? They are living on the motherland. You cannot kick them out, because Africa, we don't have that spirit. We don't do that. But they should not be involved in our own struggle or our own issue, unless we we just want to lose it, you know. So China also is not Pan-African, is not allowed, should not be allowed to join Pan-Africa because maybe they are friends of some countries in Africa, or they have helped, even not only China, even Russia or Western, any other country you may mention, name France, or whoever it is, they're not allowed to be part of Pan-Africanism. If we ever let them be so, we're going to end up to start to fight the wars. We're going to end up to be divided. That's how we lose it. But also Pan-Africa, religions are not allowed in Pan-Africanism. What that means is that people who come in Pan-Africanism, they're not supposed to promote or to push their religions. It does not mean we need to call Pan-Africanism non-religion institution in terms of everyone have to drop their religion and then become Pan-Africanist. No, we say that you put aside for your religion in order to push Pan-Africanism. It does not mean you abandon. It does not mean, it means that you practice your religion on your own. But when you come to Pan-Africanism, Pan-Africanism is part of all religions. Marcus Garvey was a Catholic. Martin Luther King was a Baptism. What is this? Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, I believe he was maybe a Catholic as well. Malcolm X was Muslim. So you can see there is so many. Ahmed Sokoture also was a Muslim. So you can see a lot of people who were Pan-Africanists and who had different religions or practices. Now, so I'm still talking about what is not Pan-Africanist. Another thing a lot of people think is that African Union is a Pan-Africanist. It's not. African Union is an institution that was established to keep the borders of colonizers in the middle of Africa. So according to the Constitution, Article number 4, the Constitution of African Union, if you ever read it. So it says that the borders or the sovereignty of the countries has to be respected as it was left by the colonizers. So if you talk about that, is automatically disqualify African Union to be a Pan-African organization, because the unity is the key to Pan-Africanism. The unity is the key to the survival of black people globally. So not only that, African Union have rejected the request of Haiti to join and be a member of African Union, while it's receiving other countries. I don't really know why that, but anyways, so also Pan-Africa it was not designed to end colonization and just keep Africa divided. I think a lot of people will tell you, hey, you know what? This and this this individual was a Pan-Africanist because he fight against colonization. Well, or this and so was a Pan-Africanist because he fight against slavery. I think that would be a little naive to say so, because colonization, people fought against colonization are not all Pan-Africanist. It's not true. Because there is people who fought against colonization or apartheid, who are not even black, who does not even care much about Africa at all, who does not even care about black people at all. So, like China, for instance, they fight against apartheid. India, Russia, even white people, many white people actually fought against apartheid, against colonization, and slavery as well. So will you call them then Pan-Africanist? Because now it does not even make sense. So fighting against colonization, slavery, apartheid is humanitarian. Anyone with common sense as a human will not allow anyone to go through colonization, to go through slavery, to go through apartheid. It doesn't matter. For instance, if someone was practicing apartheid in Indonesia or Sri Lanka or country like, Nepal, a country that people maybe, or Philippines or any other country, if someone is doing that, me personally, I don't know those countries and I don't know anyone there, but I would fight against that because it's immoral, it's unhuman. So that's why people fight. Everyone fought against slavery, against colonization, against apartheid. It's unhuman. It's not part of Pan-Africanism. It's just being human. It's been like having sense of having a moral ethics to feel like something is not right. It's not Pan-Africanist. So I'm not dismissing that people who fought against it as black people, they were not good. They did not do good. They were doing good, but it was a human. It's a humanitarian. It's to defend and protect our existence. It's not a Pan-Africanist. So that is another one I was want to talk to you about. So the other thing is, which this is very important, even today as in the past as well. You know, Pan-Africanist, it does not stand, it does not exist outside of one. I'm going to give you the principles of Pan-Africanism, and I hope you're going to enjoy this. I want you guys to memorize this. So there is principles, 3 principles, the major 3 principles. Other things can follow after that, but these 3 principles are so important for Pan-Africanism. The principle number 1 is United States of Africa. There is no one single Pan-African person who did not fight for the United States of Africa. United States of Africa, I mean completely to be one. The unity, when you talk about united, it means we are one. We are completely one. The collapse of the borders I was talking about, having one currency, having one identity, having one Minister of Foreign Affairs, having one military power, having one constitution, having identifying as ourselves, at least the black Africa, I mean, that is what it means unity. African Union is not united because people can be dying in the Congo and we here, we don't care, you know, because we are not united. If we are united, we will care, we will suffer, we will feel pain because we are not. For instance, if you look at the unity, like China has many regions, many ethnics, like 302 ethnics in China, but they are united. They are all China. When you meet them, you don't say that's from Shanghai and this is Beijing. No, they are China or America, United States of America as well. That's the good example, in fact. So then they are united because if someone is from Alabama and another one is from Idaho, they are all American. They can do anything that as the Constitution allow in any place. That means if we were united, someone from the Gambia can definitely go and do business or own land or work, or anything they want to do in Mozambique. So from Gambia to Mozambique will be no problem. They can travel, no one is going to ask them anything, something like that. So that means that is the unity we are talking about. Now, that is principle number 1. That is something that fundamental, is something that the beginning of our survival. Because why do we really need unity anyways? We are too divided. We have different backgrounds. We have different culture. We have different languages. We have different history. We have different feelings and understanding and political ideologies and religions. You know, so many things even though we are all black, but we look completely different. We have different shade and so on, beliefs. But why do we really need the unity, the full unity? Because a lot of people will say this is it's almost impossible. That's number 1. People will say that. And also people will say it's not even necessary. You will hear people say that. But because our adversary, people who want to destroy us, people who are rooting in Congo today, people who are practicing a pact of continuation of colonization in 16 countries in West Africa, they are too big. There is no way that we're gonna come on we're gonna overcome or come on stage unless we are fully united. It's impossible. Like Malawi or Burundi or Rwanda, Djibouti country, the population of Djibouti does not even, the population is not even 1 million. There is no way those small countries can survive, by themselves. They have to be part of something big. And that is why we talk about the full unity of Africa. That's number one. Number two, because the arrangement, how Africa was divided, it does not create any peace. Like, for instance, let me talk about this. I know a lot of people may don't like this or not, but it's a fact. Ethiopia is trying to get to the seaport. They are trying to find a way to get to the seaport because Ethiopia is a big country in population and the land and the economy as well. So we need a seaport as in Ethiopia here. Now, how can we have a seaport? Because we are inside. The white men divided Africa and they locked Ethiopia inside. There is no access to seaport pretty much, So it makes difficult for our economic development itself because we are not united. If we were united, Ethiopia will go to, will get let me give you an example. Which states like, I think it's Mississippi, for instance, in America. It does not have any problem to use a seaport on Florida side or New York side or California side because we are united. They are united. Now, if we were united, Ethiopia will not have any of these things of looking for a seaport because we can just use Tanzanian seaport, Dar es Salaam seaport. We can use Djibouti seaport. We can use any one of those is cross Congo seaport. We can use Ghanaian seaport. We can use Nigerian seaport. Any of those, whoever it is, it's gonna bring our stuff very quickly. It will be so. So the reason why our economic is delaying is because we are not united. We are not fully united. So that is the reason why we talk about the full unity of Africa. There is a lot of reasons why I hope you understand. The other principle number two is Africa for Africans at home and abroad. When I say Africans, I already said I mean black people. So the ownership of Africa as the culture, the land, the traditional, the repetitions, the accomplishment, the failure, is equally supposed or must be equally shared from those Africans who are abroad and those who are here at home. People abroad should have access to Africa as we do, we who are on motherland. It's very important because they are the ones who established Pan-Africanism. They are the ones who actually have suffered most for Pan-Africanism. So the owner of Africa have to be looked into that. Nowadays, they don't have any access to Africa. Absolutely not, even African Union. So the other one is, which is the last one principle, which is very important for Africans, especially abroad and on Africa, as I was saying, race first. Race first means that your race comes before anything. It comes before your job, it comes before your religion, it comes before your ethnic, it comes before so-called countries. So those are the principles of, three principles Pan-Africa, which I hope you guys will understand that. Now, outside of that, any other things can follow. They're like economic emancipation, political freedom, infrastructure, educationally, science, technology, all of those things can follow, but those three things comes first. Now, what is not Pan-Africanism? For instance, if someone is a Ghanaian nationalist, this individual does not want the unity of Africa. He or she wants only Ghana to be the strongest country in Africa, and that's it. That is not Pan-Africanist. That is not, absolutely not. That is called the Ghanaian nationalist. It's nationalist. It's not Pan-Africanist. You cannot compare those two things together, like someone who wants full unity of Africa and someone who wants the sovereignty and the powerful, his country or her country to be the dominance of other countries, which we've been swimming in that for a long time, actually. So, for instance, people ask me, what do you think about Mugabe, Robert Mugabe? Robert Mugabe, I love him, by the way, and I appreciate him. However, or nevertheless, is that Mugabe was a Zimbabwean nationalist. He fought for Zimbabwe. Okay, sometimes you will hear him talking about Africa, but trust me on this, you cannot find one single place where Mugabe wants to unite Zimbabwe with any other country. Now with Malawi, now with Zambia, now with Mozambique, nothing. He don't want that. He just wants Zimbabwe. He wants to rule Zimbabwe, and he wants Zimbabwe to be the best country. So that does not make him a Pan-Africanist. Absolutely not. Because you cannot be Pan-Africanist unless there is unity of Africa in you, the full unity of Africa. Because otherwise, so then what? If you talk you are Pan-Africanist and you want to keep the lands drawn by white people inside Africa, what kind of Pan-Africanist that will make you? So anyways, that was like example of one. So that being said, that was it for our program. Thank you so much, that being said, and I wish you a wonderful weekend. God bless Africa. Mungu ibariki Afrika, wabariki viongozi wake wote. Wape hekima, umoja na amani. Kwa heri, tutaonana wiki ijayo. Bye.